On this episode of Pure Brews America.
Ready? Here it comes.
We brew a new beer up and drill some old beer out at Witch's Hat.
But first, we visit a place that helped get this whole craft beer thing started.
When people name their pets after our beer, when people name their children after our beer.
We visit Bell's Brewery on Pure Brews America.
You were not wrong. This is really good.
All across America, the craft beer industry is exploding. I'm Ryan Terpstra, professional beer lover.
And I'm Shannon Long, founder and CEO of Brew Export.
Let us be your tour guides behind the scenes, where we will meet the key players and the beer makers and learn how they turn their dreams into reality.
We'll be traveling across the state to introduce you to some of Michigan's best beers.
It's a craft beer revolution on Pure Brews America.
One of the reasons we can even do this show is because of the pioneers of this industry that blazed the trail for everybody else.
And today we are at one of the original gangsters, Bell's Brewery.
And maybe you've been here before, maybe you haven't, but I guarantee you we're about to show you something new on Pure Brews America.
Not only is Bell's one of the oldest breweries east of Colorado, they are the top producing microbrewery in the state of Michigan. In fact, they were ranked the number 7 craft brewer in the country last year by the Brewers Association.
I used to come here once a week when I was working. Now that I'm retired, I have excellent lot more time.
So I was here about a month ago with my boyfriend, and it was so good I had to stop and bring my cousin and my sister.
One of my favorite things to do on a Saturday is to go out into the parking lot and count the license plates represented by states, even internationally. Sometimes it's Canada.
Obviously, Bell's is the first place that I go to. Why? They have a great beer garden. They have the best beer.
I just like the fact that they have like consistently multiple different types of beers on tap.
It's fantastic beer. It's world-class beer. Some of the best beer in the country, if not the world.
It's so good, yeah.
Obviously the beers are great, so I enjoyed myself.
Because I go to a lot of different breweries, and it is definitely number one.
If you head to the Eccentric Cafe, you have to check out their Beer Garden of Eden.
So I'm living every beer lover's dream right now. We're about to knock out some of the best beers in the world with Laura Bell herself.
So this is Bell's Amber Ale. It is, we say it's the beer that built the brewery. So, you know, back in the mid-'80s, late 80s, it was a chore trying to convince people that amber ale was something that they wanted to drink because it was dark and it was bitter and a little bit scary. And now we know ambers to be such a great style. Our amber ale in particular is very, very balanced.
I gotta thank this beer. Thank you, Amber Ale, for helping build Bell's.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got the one, the only, Two Hearted.
It's 100% Centennial hops. That's it.
Exclusively.
Exclusive Centennial hops, which gives it that beautiful grapefruit, piney, citrus aroma.
It's just keep making Two Hearted.
Thanks.
The world would be devastated without this beer.
We would be devastated.
The beer is great, but we want to know more about Laura's story.
A lot of times we do the show and we talk to people and they're like, well, I was a home brewer and then I decided to start my own business and now here I am. But you really grew up in this. So what was that like for you?
So people ask that question, I'm like, it was normal. That was, my childhood. I was 2 months old when my dad started the brewery. As a kid, when you're 12 years old, it's not like I knew that my dad was changing the face of craft beer in the United States. I don't think he knew that. And I'm incredibly appreciative and thankful to my dad for never pushing me to do this. I'm here because I want to be here.
You guys have basically a beer holiday with the launch of Oberon every spring. Tell us how it got to that point, because there's a lot of people that are like, all right, days off, I'm celebrating this Michigan winter being over and it's Oberon Day.
If I could tell you how it happened, I would have already written a book and probably made millions of dollars, because I can't. We decided to make a summer seasonal, which is not uncommon in breweries. Our customers took it and ran with it. Their level of, again, enthusiasm and excitement for this brand was what drove us to say, we'll throw a midnight party because you guys are already waiting outside, for it, or we'll open up at 9 because you're already, you're excited about it and we want to support that. I don't know many other products, and not just Bell's, but craft beer in general, that people are so intensely passionate about and how much they integrate it into their lives as something that's a meaningful part of everything else around them, I guess.
Awesome. Well, we can see the passion here for sure. Cheers.
Cheers.
From the pub to the production facility. And if you want to talk about massive, Bell's might need their own zip code soon. But all that beer goes through a very careful process.
Being such a large facility, I mean, quality is going to be absolutely key for you guys. Can you tell me a little bit about your labs, your quality control team, and how you guys maintain, you know, the freshness of the beer and just making consistent beers?
Sure. I usually taste every beer that we make in this facility 4 or 5 times before it leaves the door, along with with a large group of core tasters. Every beer is tested multiple times for microstability. We run analytics on everything as well. Our goal is to maintain the character and the quality of the beer.
Beer and science. You gotta have both to be a rock star like Bell's. I wanted to find out more, plus they said I could light something on fire.
How many fermenters are here?
Right now we're in D cellar, so it's just one little section of the brewery, but there are quite a few 520 barrel fermentation tanks. They go up a couple stories here. All in all, we have 36 tanks right here in this area, and they hold quite a bit of beer.
So every day you come in here and you take samples from each of their fermenters, correct?
That's right. Throughout the fermentation process, we want to make sure that spoilage bacteria and spoilage yeast don't get into the beer and cause off flavors.
And I heard all of this involves a blowtorch somehow.
That's right. So because we're a brewery and there are beer spoilers all over the place, and we want to make sure that we're not picking up bacteria that may be on the outside of the faucet. We want to make sure that we're actually getting a sample of what's inside, so we use heat to sterilize the faucet before we pull the sample. And then we'll take it to the lab for testing. So we're going to take our sample here and we're going to pipette a little bit of our sample. It's actually 1/3 of a mil. We're going to draw it up and then we're just going to put it right on the Petri dish here. We don't want to just leave it on the Petri dish. We're going to spread it around a little bit so it's nice and even on there. If we have any wild yeast, they'll be able to grow on this auger. And when we're done with this, we're going to let them dry, and then we're going to put them in the growth environment and let them grow for 2 days to see if we have any growth.
Thanks for letting me hang out with you.
Yeah.
Two Hearted is one of your most popular beers, and you have an entire cellar dedicated to Two Hearted.
We do. And we're actually adding on to that and building another cellar that will be.
I think that's happy.
Yeah.
Happy for the whole world.
Yeah, cellar A is the Two Hearted cellar, and the new cellar is called cellar A plus, actually.
Tell me about these tanks. I hear they're engineered specifically for Two Hearted beer.
That is true. There's 14 tanks in this cellar. They each hold, we brew 410 barrels into them. They can hold upwards of 600 though. One of the fundamental tasks that we do in each one of these tanks is called fozzing. This would be a slow process. There's 410 barrels of beer that want to leave a 3-inch port. This is the stuff that, while yeast is arguably one of the biggest driving factors of flavor in beer, if left inside the tank too long, it actually can impact it negatively. So yeah, that's the technique of fozzing.
So we have had a load of fun today here at Bell's Brewery.
It has been pretty awesome, but I do have one question. How do we get out of here?
No idea.
Hello!
Coming up next, more from Kalamazoo.
It's one of the best beer scenes in Michigan. It is the best beer scene in Michigan.
We also are joined by the guys from Hopcat to show you how to integrate craft beer into your kitchen when Pure Brews America returns.
At Lawrence Technological University, you'll go way beyond the books. Professors with real-world experience deliver hands-on instruction in small classes, helping students land co-ops, internships, and research projects. By graduation, 80% of LTU students have jobs or plans to pursue master's degrees. And most Lawrence Tech grads earn more than their peers. So if you're ready to embrace your possibilities, we want you at LTU.
Why are you all here? To learn, right? So you can get a good job, so you're not working for peanuts. Well, what if I told you that peanuts can work for you? While you guys are busy napping, peanuts are delivering 7 grams of protein and 6 essential nutrients right to your mouth. You ever seen a peanut take a day off? No. Peanuts don't even get casual khaki Fridays. Because peanuts take their job seriously. So unless you want a life of skimming Wi-Fi off the neighbors, you'll harness the hard-working power of the peanut.
At Rogue Brewing, we have a burning passion to bring you the best beers, including Livewire, a classic American IPA that is shockingly refreshing. Powerbow, our Belgian wit beer with summer zest. Mean Street, an American amber that is clean as it is mean. And Devil Dog, our oatmeal stout brewed in honor of our nation's veterans. Rogue Brewing Company, aggressively brewed in Royal Oak, Michigan. Roke on.
This is the middle, a place where somehow common sense just seems a little more common. Where people come together, look each other in the eye, and get to work. Our hands may be calloused or sometimes sore, but we raise them quickly and lend them easily. Because this is the heart of the heartland. This is Michigan, and we're big believers in more. Like we can always do a little more, give a little more, love a little more, and find ways for our families to have a little more. We were born and raised here, and for 80 years now, we've made it our business to do whatever we can to help people have and do a little more.
What is Meyerbeer Frontier?
The Beer Frontier is your online home for discovering and exploring Michigan's best breweries and beers. The Beer Frontier is a one-stop resource for event listings, recipes, and flavor profiles. You'll also find this exclusive behind-the-scenes look at one of Michigan's favorite breweries.
What was it like for you to see your family's beer, having it spread across the state?
Meyer's Michigan company, so being able to focus on those Michigan products, it's been really exciting to watch them grow just as we have. We need a great retail partner to help sell our beer and to help educate customers about it. And then simultaneously, they're looking for products that stand up to the quality that they expect.
You know, you started distributing to places like Meijer. Can you tell me if you can remember how it felt the first time you saw, Bell's beer on the shelf in Meijer?
Sure.
What did you do?
When you walk into a place and you see a product that you work so hard prominently displayed in a large grocery store, I mean, it's a great feeling of pride, to be sure.
And it's still exciting to me to know that, oh my gosh, that's our beer, it's on the shelf, people are wanting to buy it. Just the fun that it seems like Meijer has with it has been really, really exciting. So I hope I never get used to the goosebumpy feeling that I get.
Find out what's brewing around town and across the country. Let us be your guide along the Meyerbeer Frontier.
So I've been brewing for 25 years. I'm the longest professional active brewer in Kalamazoo right now. Bell's started here, and then I opened up the first brew pub in town in '96. Since then, it's exploded. Basically, over the last 3 years, we've gained 6 different breweries.
One of the things that I really like about Kalamazoo is that we, in a fairly central location, have for students and for the community all of these possibilities for beers, the brewing community, and also a school within walking distance, really.
So many great breweries. It's just been amazing to see the growth of the craft beer movement.
People always ask about the competition, but to use the old adage, I guess, rising tide raises all ships, and we get way more business because there's other breweries in town.
All the brewers here in Kalamazoo all make different kinds of styles of beer. So it's great that we can send our customers to other breweries so they can have enjoyment of other people's beer.
Literally, I'm at a different brewery every single week, and the same for the other brewers and breweries. They're here all the time. The more good beer we have in Kalamazoo, the more people are going to come to Kalamazoo to try that.
People coming from 500 miles away wouldn't come here if it was just us. They come because they can hit 12, 13 breweries in the greater Kalamazoo area now.
I celebrate the work that these craftsmen and artists have done to create the product that really has attracted folks from all over the country.
There's people that come up here from North Carolina, Florida. We've even had people from overseas.
And we've actually are beginning to get some international recognition for this, in which we have companies and breweries outside of the U.S. very interested in what we're doing here
Part of our business plan took into account people coming on beercations anyways, but the Givercraft passports have just taken that to a whole new level. Everybody that comes in town to check out breweries gets that, and even if they don't come this time, they get the map that's in there and find out about us, and they'll probably be back next time.
It gave people incentive to come out here and get their passport stamped, and we see a lot of those faces coming back now, so it was huge for us being a young company.
We get a lot of tourists coming through for the passport.
It's real fun to see people so excited about the full Kalamazoo Beer Trail. I'm actually brewing for the passport anniversary coming up today.
Oh, I have such a love-hate relationship with Beer Week. I love it because it's our busiest week of the year, but I hate it because it's our busiest week of the year.
That whole week is like the best week out of the whole year. We bring all the weird and crazy beers that we can make. You know, we just get bombarded with people because they know every brewery is bringing the goods that week, and so it makes it a lot of fun for us as brewers.
It's one of the best beer scenes in Michigan. It is the best beer scene in Michigan.
I was a bartender for quite a while, and I always noticed how much waste we produced. We started a transition into compostable products, and that was kind of the first step that got me into sustainability.
We've now got to the point where we recycle and compost 90% of our waste.
We compost all of our food waste and all of our spent grain from our brewing operations, all of our compostable products, our paper towel. It makes me happy to know that we can play a role in replenishing this really valuable resource.
So today we'll be making a marinade using one of our Michigan favorite IPAs, Two Hearted.
Two Hearted is one of the top-rated IPAs in the world, made right here in Michigan.
And we'll use this as the base for our marinade. Add it right in first. The juice of about a lime, a little bit of minced garlic, about 3 cloves, some dry basil, oregano, salt and pepper, all mixed up, ready to go in. Mix everything together before adding in the oil. When you start adding the oil, you can go kind of slowly.
All right, now this comes the fun part. Pouring the marinade into the bag without pouring it all over yourself or the counter.
And then we're just gonna throw these in the fridge for at least 4 hours, preferably overnight if you got the time and planning. This marinade would also work well to grill, broil, saute. We're gonna throw it in an oven at right about 350 to 400 degrees.
All right, Cam, you got that chicken done?
They're coming out of the oven right now, Gary. And that is how you make beer marinated chicken.
Coming up, a small brewery that has flavors just as strong as the big boys.
They have a peanut butter barrel-aged beer that's just fantastic, and it's one of the highest rated beers in the state, I think.
We get our hands dirty at Witch's Hat when Pure Brews America returns.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Classic. Here we are, big fella. Come get it, big guy.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Hungry Howies founded flavored crust, but how can we really own flavor?
One word, brand extensions. Behold, butter cheese toothpaste.
You actually made a tube of toothpaste.
Not just one, check it. I got sesame, Asiago cheese, onion.
Where are these coming from?
I've got an intern.
Really?
Hey, order online and get a meal deal for any size budget.
Hungry?
Howies!
We want you.
We are Lawrence Technological University, and we don't want just anyone.
We want the brainiacs, visionaries, geniuses, and game changers. We want the students who will change the world through technology, science, business, and design.
So if you're ready to explore your possibilities,
we want you at LTU.
Lawrence Tech. Possible is everything.
So Pure Brews America has invaded South Lyon, and Shannon, we are here to check out Witch's Hat Brewery.
And I hear they have a new cream ale that they need our help naming.
Sounds like just the job for us.
Let's go.
Witch's Hat beer is great beer because they love sometimes stepping out of the box a little bit to make creative beers, but they've been just rocking it since they started.
They do two things that are actually kind of, you would think, opposite. They make really big, heavy beers that are awesome, and they also make nice light beers like this Kolsch that I'm drinking, and do a really good job of it.
Love those beers. They're dangerously good. The beer has been phenomenal, and our time here has been phenomenal.
Not only do they make excellent beer, but they're very good people. They do a lot of charitable events in the community. They treat their employees very well. They've got a huge mug club.
The thing that I love the most is the mugs back there. Like, that looks sweet, like lit up, and all the glass mugs are amazing.
You know what I really love about it? The people that work here. The people that work here really like this place. They appreciate the beer and they appreciate the customers.
If I'm coming in here after a bad day, I'm going to see someone I know, I'm going to see someone I like, and I'm going to see someone that I can have a beer with.
It's like a family. You know, you sit down at the bar, you meet people. Every time you're here, you go home with a story about someone you talk to and you love it.
They're the best.
Those amazing owners that everyone is talking about are Ryan and Aaron Cottingem, who opened Witch's Hat in 2011.
Let's talk a little bit about your beer story, how we ended up in this tap room.
We're avid garage sailors, and so we were out garage sailing one day and saw Mr. Beer Kit at a garage sale for like $2 or $3 or whatever. Made some really awful beer.
Terrible beers.
But really fell in love with the process of making beer and what it could be, and so over time just kind of kept diving in more and more and upgrading equipment. We had our first daughter born in 2010. Right about the same time we both got laid off. We decided to just say, screw it, let's throw a business plan together. And
we started in a strip mall down the street, about a half mile down the road, 1,600 square feet. And then we started brewing, and we hoped that maybe a few people would show up and taste the brews. And that first day, we had a full house for 13 hours straight with a line out the door. It was insane, the response that we got. It was unbelievable.
I like to ask this question of couples that own or work together or whatever, and Ryan, the camera is rolling, so like what is it like to be in this business together?
It's great. I wouldn't be able to do it without her. So,
we're a two-headed monster.
She's my best friend, and I get to see her day in, day out. We work together. We have different aspects that we focus on in this business.
Couldn't imagine doing anything else, honestly.
You can only purchase Witch's Hat beer at their pub or on draft at a few Southeast Michigan locations. With over 20 selections on tap, we got to know some of their different styles.
So this baby here is Res Get Smashed. And from what I know, this is a smash beer, so single malt, single hop.
Well, this beer will sneak up on you. Being that it's a smash, we use only that 2-row, and that's a very basic malt that a lot of brews are made with. And it's not necessarily to impart a whole lot of flavor in the beer, so it really gives a chance to showcase the Simcoe hops, which is a very quintessential grapefruit, pine needle, and you really get it here, and you can just look and see how clear that beer is. It sneaks up on people. It's very high in alcohol, almost 10%, and it'll catch up quick, but it is clean and delicious. Pretty much if you go to any other establishment in town here, you're gonna see Train Hopper on tap. It's just a great, well-balanced beer with a really nice dry finish on it. It's just excellent. It's like 5-1 our #1 seller out in the market. And I think that's pretty cool, because a lot of times you go to communities that have breweries, and you might not see their beer on tap around town because they feel like, why would I carry your beer when people can just come to your bar and drink it right from the source? And our owners, Ryan and Aaron, are super involved in the community, and we basically take turns going around to all the restaurants in town and having lunch and dinner to make sure we're taking care of them too, so they keep our beer on tap for us.
Since you can see right into the brew house, I asked the guys if I could help out. They said yes. Okay, Joe, what are we doing today? What kind of beer are you brewing, or we brewing?
We're gonna brew a cream ale, which is an American style kind of hybrid of like lager and ale.
Cool, so you guys have never done a cream ale before. This is a brand new beer.
This is the first one, yep.
Oh, I'm excited. All right, how much do these weigh?
Those are 50 pounds, so I could, right.
Oh no, we got this.
All right.
Muscles, you have me working today.
There we go.
This is like a facial. This is good, right?
Yeah, it's nice and steamy. You're gonna get nice and sweaty up here, yeah. Go ahead and start stirring, kind of. Just stir it in. This is the temp probe, so this is what I'm gonna have know when, how hot the mash is. So I want to go for 150. So 150 degrees.
That's a giant thermometer that's gonna tell us when it hits 150?
Yup, exactly.
Gotcha.
Now we let it sit.
Okay, so now we're pitching the yeast. We're gonna put that whole thing in there?
We're gonna put 1.5 of these, so here you go.
So this is a cream ale yeast blend. So I shake it up?
You can just shake it a little bit, yeah.
Like, wake up, guys. All right, gentlemen, the cream ale yeast is officially pitched. So this is gonna ferment for how many days?
It'll be about 2 to 3 weeks when this is done, where we can drink it.
Bingo, we made it through the day.
Cool. Good job.
After brewing, we had to taste something right away, so Ryan pulled out his drill and offered to crack into one of the bourbon barrels that had been aging their well-watered barley wine for the last 6 months.
Ready? Here it comes.
There we go. The well water was awesome, and Witch's Hat is really known for their Night Fury series. And for the Dragon Tracks version, they stuff half a pantry worth of ingredients into the barrel.
So we brew that one with peanut butter, vanilla beans, cocoa nibs that we get from Mindo and Dexter, and coconut. So it's a very fun beer.
Before wrapping up the show, we had to gather up the troops because this new cream ale needs a name.
All right, Ryan, you've been thinking about it. You've taken the suggestions. You've polled the audience. What are we going to call this beer?
Yeah, we've definitely bounced around quite a few times today on what we're going to call this beer. But I think the winning name is definitely Ice Cream for Cream Ale.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.